AFL 23's long-awaited Pro Team mode finally arrived last week, and now that I've had a bit of hands-on time with the mode, let's give it a chance to give it a bit of a review and see whether or not it's worth returning to the game. Of course, AFL 23 did have a rocky launch last year, but the highly anticipated Pro Team, big answer to EA's Ultimate Team, had a huge appeal for fans who wanted to stack their team with stars from today, as well as legends from the past. Now, while we don't have any legends to play with yet in Season 1 of Pro Team, it's still a massive content update to a game that desperately needed a breath of fresh air. Pro Team delivers the biggest update to AFL 23 yet, introducing 3 new ways to play as you progress and build your team with AFL stars. And similar to any live service mode, of course, there are microtransactions that are optional, but not required to have an enjoyable experience. As it stands, I haven't put any money into my own Pro Team, but you can have a look at it on the screen now. There's still plenty of superstars in there, and while I don't have too many of those blue cards that I think everyone is trying to get, I've still been able to pick up plenty of wins online. You can build your team by completing challenges against online opponents in the game's Premiership Challenge mode, which also provides an online ranked progression system for the first time in an AFL game. Or if playing online isn't for you, you can actually compete in weekly challenges in the Coach Battles mode. They grant a variety of rewards for completing matchups relative to what's happening in the real world season, as well as the game's Ladder Leaders mode, where you have to win 18 consecutive matchups against differently created teams that generally have a bit of a theme around them in order to win some in-game rewards. Now, the Ladder Leaders mode is somewhat a pay-to-play mode, where you do need an entry ticket to be able to start up a ladder, but if you're not willing to part with your hard-earned cash, you can get a free entry simply from leveling up and getting it through standard progression. And this is where you get your best freebies. Through the level progression system, you're actually treated with plenty of rewards, whether that be through extra packs, XP boosts, in-game currency, and of course, entries into the Ladder Leaders mode. Of course, all these things you can get just for free, just by playing the game and progressing through. It is possible to build a stacked team without actually putting in a dime. But if you do want to increase your chances, open more packs, and build your team quicker, there's always plenty of ways to put your money in and go that option as well. From my early thoughts, I think it's pretty good. It's the first time I felt like AFL 23 has delivered some level of replayability, especially with, I guess, the management mode and general online play lacking major progression systems. Pro Team actually gives you something worth playing for, and it definitely makes it the star of the game. I think the best part about it is that if you are struggling against online opponents, you do actually have the option of playing against the computer, and you can sort of set your own difficulties for that. Ladder Leaders is a bit different, but it is completely possible for this to just be a fully offline experience if that is the way you wanted to go with Pro Team. Of course, like everything, it's not perfect. There are some obvious downsides with some fine-tuning needed. Plenty of players are recording, obviously, disconnects, costing them wins in online games. I think with 18 players on the field, player contracts is becoming a little bit of an issue for players who are just solely picking up players in their packs. I think that might need a little bit of tuning. And the Ladder Leaders mode just has some matchups that require, 10 or even 15-minute quarter lengths, which I think are just far too long for a single match experience. You think about like how long games are these days that are online experiences. You think about Fortnite, sort of a max like 20-25 minute game. Rocket League's obviously about an 8 to 10 minute game. Even games like League of Legends, if you've got a long game, it's probably between like 45 minutes and an hour. And of course, those are games where they sort of progress through the actual game rather than it being the exact same sort of simulation for a long period of time. So I think those matchups in Ladder Leaders that require 10 and 15 minute quarter lengths where you're sort of erring somewhere between 60 to 90 minutes for your matchup to be completed is just far too long. And I get that experience might be for some people, but to be investing over an hour into a single matchup of gameplay that still isn't quite as satisfying as it could be, and it's not as if you like progress through a match, it's literally the match is just the match. It can definitely become a real drain, and I think it can certainly deter people from actually buying into that mode, given it is somewhat of a paid entry mode, either through investing your time or investing your real money. So I think some tuning there would really help, whether that be just making a difficulty increase or the ability to pick your own quarter length, and you can adjust the XP slider based on that. And of course, the biggest thing so far is we still don't have old school legend players into the game yet. They are expected to arrive in Season 2 of Pro Team, which will come through the finals series of the AFL later this year. But a little bit of a plus side at the moment is that you can still get players from the 2023 season, meaning you can get stars like Buddy Franklin, Jack Riewoldt, Trent Cotchin, Nick Nat will be in there, Daniel Rich, Luke Shuey, and I guess Isaac Smith, who won the Norm a couple of years ago. They're all still gettable players for the time being. So the question is it worth it? And at the moment, I think absolutely. I think pro teams still, even if you're not putting any money into it, provides the biggest content update for AFL 23 to date. And it instantly makes it the biggest reason to actually boot up the game. I think the biggest thing with Pro Team compared to the other modes in the game is that every game feels like there is a reason behind playing it, whether it's to complete a challenge or to just improve your team, build your experience, or if you're playing online, you want to improve your rank. There are reasons to want to play every game and want to keep playing the game. So that progression is absolutely huge. And while the gameplay itself still isn't perfect, I think there's still enough variety in the different modes that you can get something out of it for yourself, even if playing online isn't for you. And I think just that entire progression of either building the team or like building an online rank is enough to keep you coming back. Even if you're a Richmond supporter like me and your team is currently sitting on the bottom of the ladder, I still want to play. So I do think it is a great starting point for Pro Team in the AFL games, which is probably going to be a staple going forward. I just hope that we do get as much investment into other areas of the game as we have into Pro Team, now that it has taken a significantly long chunk of time to actually get it out to the players. And I hope we just get those investments back into other areas of the game, like management mode, or even just a normal online ranked mode might be a little bit nicer as well. Or pro clubs. It'll never happen, but pro clubs. So let me know your experience with AFL 23's Pro Team. How are you going? Who's the star of your team? Let me know in the comments down below. If you're liking it, if you're hating it, I want to hear all about that as well. So thanks for watching today. If you've checked out Pro Team, let me know. If you haven't and you don't really give a stuff, that's fine as well. Have a great day, everyone. I will see you all next time. Goodbye.